Hi, Arlene. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. Arlene, like I mentioned earlier before we came in, thank you so very much for honoring the invite. It means a whole lot. Thank you. Okay, Arlene, I am quite excited to have you on the show for some reasons. All right. Firstly, my interest in knowledge. I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see, Arlene, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I don't want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation here today very, very important to me and even to the audience. The second reason why I'm excited to have you on the show, Arlene, is for the sake of the audience now. I believe there are some things that you know that some of the listeners needs to hear you say these stuff, directly from your mouth in order for them to experience transformation and get unstuck. I firmly believe that. And lastly, that is me again. I am convinced that I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from Arlene's story, insights, and experiences. So for that reason, Arlene, let's get started with your introduction, your journey, talk to us how you got here, and afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Arlene, over
Great.
to you.
Great. So, right now, I'll start where I am now, and I'll sort of step back and bring you up to date. So, I am a work-life balance coach for women, and I'm a transformational mentor for men and women. I also facilitate meditation classes, and as part of mentoring, I also do soul readings. And when I was 15 years old, stepping way back, I decided that I wanted to be an attorney, and I did. I went to college, I went to law school, and I worked for like some small practice attorneys for a few years. And when I was 29, I opened my own small solo practice law firm in Cleveland, Ohio. It's in the Midwest in the US. And I immediately found out I was pregnant. And my then husband had a job that was working like 70, 80 hours a week. And my family was in another part of the United States, so I had nobody there. And so I really had to sort of gather a tribe around me so I could be a working mother, starting her own business, be a wife, be a mother to this child that was going to be born, and find a way to balance it all, which is why I feel like I'm passionate about, helping women in the same situation today, whether they're working or not as a mother, or whatever their situation is. It feels like, it's helpful to help people balance their lives. And when my son was about 9, I sold my business and I moved to a suburb of Denver, Ohio, where I live now, at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains in the U.S. And I took the money from the proceeds of selling my business and I became a partner in a small boutique law firm. And I did that until a few years ago when we sold the practice. And while I was, I'll backtrack, while I was a partner, I got a diploma in coaching and mentoring and also a diploma in transformational holistic counseling so that I could be a better communicator, a better negotiator, personally and professionally. And then I just really felt that I'd been an attorney long enough and I wanted to go into coaching and mentoring full time. So that's the short story of how I am here today.
Beautiful, interesting. That's actually amazing. The fact that you are committed to helping women, have that life balance, because I feel like most women get frustrated because of this, trying to balance being a wife, a mother, and a working class now. So people
Yeah,
like you now are impacting the world because when you're putting an end to a particular problem, you're making the world a better place. And I love what you're doing, Arlene. Thank you so much for being committed to doing it. So that's going to
thank
lead
you.
to the very first question. Are you ready?
Sure,
Okay,
I am
so
ready.
beautiful. So, can you talk to us about how gratitude and work-life balance are related.
So gratitude sort of helps everything in our lives. If we do have that true attitude of gratitude, not just something we're saying in our heads, but in our heart of hearts, it's going to lift everything up. And that's true for our work-life balance as well, because lots of times we can't necessarily take things off of our plate that are already there, but how we experience them is going to be very different if we're truly grateful for all the blessings in our life, versus if we're just focusing on all the stress that we have in our life and how in the heck am I going to manage it? So we can have the same thing on our plates, but if we have that true attitude of gratitude, what it does is it helps us to slow down and then handle things maybe one at a time and really have a clearer head and a clearer heart so that we can set priorities about what needs to be done and what can wait till later. But if we're all stressed and upset and overwhelmed, that's when our mind shuts off. That's when our heart contracts and closes down. So in that situation, it's so much harder to take care of anything because we're in total overwhelm. And so gratitude is a big key to manifestation, but when we can have that attitude of gratitude and we can find ways, practices that work, not from the head, but from the heart, really simple things, then our life begins to change. And then we can open up to more ideas of how we can do things maybe more holistically or streamline them so that we do have more time for what we need to do.
Beautiful. What a great answer. You're right. Because there was a time when I felt really stressed and overwhelmed, and I was just so moody. Then it occurred to me to then be grateful and practice gratitude. And I started
Yeah.
meditating on some things, and I was grateful for them. Harlan, I won't lie to you, it wasn't even up to 3 minutes. I became lively and I started laughing. I was moody before, I was just like this. Then after I started being grateful for some certain things now, my mood changed and I became happy. Then I know what next to do and how to do it. So you're very correct. You're very correct. Okay.
Yeah. And,
So,
and I just
yeah,
want to
yeah,
share
yeah.
one other thing for your audience is that don't make the mistake of waiting to be grateful for something. Look around you in your life and be grateful for what you've already created, whether it's the bed you sleep in, or the hot water you have, or the food in your fridge, or the friends you have, or the people that you love or love you. That sounds like what you did. So don't wait for something to be grateful for. Look around yourself and really notice what you've created in your life and that there is so much to already be grateful for.
Exactly, exactly. That's so true. Okay, so can you talk to us about a simple way to upgrade our experience of life?
Yeah, I think that oftentimes, the law of attraction is what we focus on, is what we get more of in our lives. So what we need to do is, stop doing a lot of things, stop focusing on and making something that maybe is this big to this big, and stressing about it. Stop being so hard on ourselves. Stop having expectations on ourselves that we can't fulfill. If we have a to-do list for today, don't make it that you need a week to do it. Have the top two or three things that you must get done and let everything else be the icing on the cake. And start finding ways to be kind and patient and tolerant with ourselves and appreciate ourselves more. So it's about finding ways to fill our cup up with love. Because if we're working from an empty cup, we're going to have nothing to give to ourselves or anybody else. So really feel into what brings me joy. What gives me a singing heart, and incorporate some of those things into your day. It could be something really simple. It could be instead of eating in the car on the run, to having a nice plate in front of you and some nice thing to look at and just having a nice quiet meal instead of, eating hurriedly. There's all sorts of small things that we can do to bring ourselves back to our center.
That's all right. I got that. You know, I love and really like how you're answering those questions. You're making it very easy to understand. I like that. Okay,
Yeah,
so the
we don't want to
next
make
one.
it complicated. We can't do it if it's complicated, can we? We have to keep it
Yeah,
simple.
Simple. That's right. That's right. Okay, we have two more to go. Okay. So,
Okay.
there are folks who struggle to stay relaxed because they've got so many things in their plate now. You know, they have to do this,
hmm
they have to do that there. So let's say they now ask you, Arlene, how can I stay relaxed even though I've got so many things to do? What would your response be?
Well, we all have to breathe. If we breathe, we're going to die. So one thing that we can do is work with some simple breathing techniques, and we can do these kind of breathing techniques while we're doing anything. And the simplest one that I teach to people is breathing in through our nose and out through our nose, and having the out breath longer than the in breath, because that tells your body to go out of fight or flight mode and into rest or relax mode. It also oxygenates your body, because when you're stressed, you're breathing like right up here, and lots of times we hold our breath. So if we take time to have that nice, relaxed breathing technique, then we're going to we're going to tell our bodies to slow down. And sometimes it might take 5 or 10 minutes, but I mean, you can do it while you're folding the clothes, while you're standing in line to pay something at the grocery store, while you're driving your car, while someone else is talking to you. You can always practice simple breathing techniques to put the body into rest and relaxed mode. And be patient, because sometimes it takes time to do that. Another thing that we can do is just what I call is a body scan. We can lie down on our bed and put some nice music on that we love, nothing too loud, but something relaxing, and just practice relaxing our body from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet. So if our shoulders are really tense, we practice dropping them and relaxing. We can practice our breath work then. So we're just working with our body and being kind to it. And you can do that in like 5 minutes. These things don't have to take a long time. There's like what I'm sharing with you is two very simple things that your audience, your listeners can put into practice right away to let go. And there are lots of breathing techniques on YouTube. There's lots of body scan relaxation techniques on YouTube as well, if you want someone else to lead you in that process.
Beautiful, I got that. Okay, so the last one. Now, let us talk about breaking free from things that holds us back. It could be this negative thought or inner critic or something. How can we break free from those things?
Well, with the inner critic, if we're feeling stuck, and we're in a place of like a hamster going around in a wheel, round and round, and we feel we can't get off, guarantee that we're either judging ourselves, judging our situation, judging somebody else, and we probably have an inner critic that's talking in our ear, that's saying things that aren't very kind or helpful to ourselves. So a really easy first step is I feel confident that all of your audience, all of your listeners, they know how to be nice to other people. If they had a friend who was going through exactly the same thing, what would they say to them? To someone that they cared about. They would be nurturing, uplifting, supportive. They would give them ideas of how to take care of themselves. Sometimes we do focus on the negative too much, and sometimes we need a little bit of tough love. Maybe we do that for our friend as well. So since we already have these skills that we already apply to other people, all we have to do is turn around and apply them to ourselves. Even if it feels like, I'm a fraud, or I don't deserve it, just tell that bit of you, we're going to play with this until we get a different experience. And so what we're doing is we are retraining ourselves to be kind and patient and tolerant with ourselves instead of beating ourselves up.
Powerful, amazing words. Wisdom.
Well, thank you.
Beautiful, I love it, I love it. Okay, Arlene, to bring this to an end, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, maybe you said some things that resonated with them and they'd love to learn more. How can that be possible?
Right. I just feel that, well, this is a quote that I love. It's like any disaster can become a blessing, any blessing can become a disaster, and there's always a better way. So no matter how difficult or horrible something feels, there is a way through our hearts to create a blessing. Even people who have lost children, they created foundations, or they've done something, they've lost a loved one, they created something in their honor, very painful, very heartbreaking for their memory to keep moving forward. And, the same way we have to recreate our lives. If we, people that win the lottery over here or whatever, so you get to find out people win it and they blow all the money. So we can take something that's really great and not do something good with it. So it's in our hands. Yes, it's also in our hearts, or, if you believe in the higher power or source or God or the universe, that's there for you as well. And also, no matter how great or wonderful we've done something right now, we're always evolving, we're always growing. So we can always be learning and growing a better way to do something that we've done really excellent. Now, we don't have to stay in the same stuff. We can sort of keep on sort of evolving up. And I feel like when we work with this saying, or this affirmation, or this quote, is that it really instills hope. We know that we can create a better way. We know that if we have a really difficult thing happening, there is a way somewhere in our hearts, especially if we put out the message, or we work to make it happen, that a better way can happen. And we can really be grateful for and work with those blessings in our lives so they remain blessings in our lives. And that's pretty empowering. And that I hope that your audience and the people, find that hopeful.
Beautiful. Yes, they will. Okay, your contact for the ones who would like to reach out to
Right.
you.
So the best way to probably contact me is either through LinkedIn, and my name is right here on the screen, Arlene Cohen Miller on LinkedIn, or you can find me at my website, Jewel Consultancy, JEWEL Consultancy.com. It has everything I do there: coaching, mentoring, soul readings, and all about me. And I do respond. Sometimes if I don't respond right away, I'm traveling, but I will get back to you. And I would love to hear from, anyone in your audience who has any questions or whatever they want to say to me.
Beautiful. So that's going to be the end of the show, Arlene. Thank you so very much for coming, and thank you for sharing this amazing insight with us. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Thank you.